Hello everyone and welcome back to the Sedona International Film Festival. I'm Carol Kahn. We'd like to thank our sponsors, the Sedona Rouge Hotel, Broadcast Rentals, and Sedona Advertising Agency. And joining us right now are two filmmakers. Please introduce yourself.
Good. My name is Eric Baldetti. I'm a co-director for the film Los Otros, and I also edited it and shot it.
I'm Monica Pendergrass. I'm a co-director and producer of Los Otros.
Okay, and from what I understand, this is your first time in Sedona?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so what do you think so far? You just got here, but...
We just got here. So far, it's incredibly beautiful, and the film festival, at least so far, has been so welcoming and so, nice. It's been nice to meet some of the other people and all.
Well, awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about your film.
So Los Otros profiles 3 different people at different points in their lives after they've come back to Mexico. After they returned to Mexico. But essentially, one is a father who'd only been back for about a month. Another was a student who's now been back for 8 years, working on her law degree. And the other was a veteran who'd been back for 14 years, but a United States veteran, I should say.
And what inspired you to do this film?
Originally, it was an article that I had read about a community in Mexico City called Little LA, which I thought was so funny because we know Chinatown and Koreatown or any of these sort of communities here in America. I never really thought about that in Mexico. But essentially, there's an area in Mexico City of call centers where a lot of deportees end up because they speak English. They can find an easy job there. And in that community, it's a place where they can speak English without feeling like they have to be ashamed of it. Because as much as they kind of get a lot of shame here in America for being here illegally, when they return back to Mexico, there's a lot of stigma that's attached to that. A lot of people in Mexico kind of think that they are, well, if you've returned, you're a criminal, or, you think you're better than us if you speak English. So this community was a safe place for them to kind of be. So because of that, I reached out to a community, one of the organizations. So it was an all-female run organization, and just spoke with them about profiling some of the different experiences and how it's been different over time.
I think it was very surprising to me because, of all the immigration issues that we're faced with today, and some of the facts that I did not even know, that if you're caught here, you cannot come back to this country for 10 years. So, some of the subjects that you've talked to, they had families that they had to leave behind and go there. So what was your experience in talking with some of these individuals?
It was different for everyone. Freddie, who's the man that's on the poster right there, because he'd only been back for a month, it was still incredibly raw and emotional for him. He said the interview itself was very cathartic. But again, it's something that I think a lot of people don't understand. He was picked up actually right outside of a courthouse. He was going through the process. He was trying to do things legally. But essentially ICE gets their information, and before he was able to get the judge to, what is it called?
Expunge his record.
Expunge his record.
Yeah, there was some minor discrepancy about, what he had done illegally, and he was clearing it up, but anyways.
Yeah, but that's how they essentially target people. And so they took him immediately. He never got to say goodbye to his children or his ex-wife at the time. So it was incredibly raw for him. For the others, they'd been back for a while, so it was slightly different. I think they had a different perspective. They'd gone through that period of depression. But they, I think, were still a bit angry, especially Alec, who is the veteran. He was angry, I think rightfully so, because he actually had served for the U.S. Army. And that's something I think a lot of people don't understand, that there are, we don't know how many, but there are many veterans that have been deported, usually for PTSD-related crimes. They get sent back to Mexico, and then the U.S. government doesn't have to give them any sort of benefits for their service. And I think a lot of people would agree that if you've served your country or served America, that you kind of have the right to be an American. But for him, it wasn't necessarily so.
Let's take a look at the trailer.
Sure.
I never spent a day in jail in my life till that moment. After 14 years, you're living a life. You got a job, you go to school, you have family, you have a house, you have a car, you have friends, you have, you dress, you talk, you think, you express as an American. So when I was locked in that cell, it was like that bubble or that dream that you have, it's like it's gone, it's like somebody's. And the outside probably is your reality, that you in the United States illegally.
My recruiter told me, I'll get you your U.S. citizenship. If you come and join it, be part of us. Be part of the few, the proud Americans. I said, that's me. Patriotism, the way they sell it to you, it looks pretty. But at the end, it's not that pretty.
I was your typical dreamer with dreams of grandeza. The plan was go back to Mexico, reapply for your student visa. I came back with one bag for the 1 month or so I anticipated, but now it's been more than 8 years.
Once I was here, psychological-wise, it was a roller coaster. There was days that I wanted to run just back to the United States and I'm gonna make them across the border. I'll go back to my family.
I got into this long state of depression, just not knowing what to do with my life.
You feel like you're in the middle of a tunnel, My family, they had their lives, and I think I'm gonna be alone for the rest of my life.
In the end, the system is the one that's flawed, and it's not the people. We're a family of outcasts, literally.
That definitely struck a heart chord. I mean, it's such an amazing film. When he said that, I'm all alone. I guess I'm going to be alone. That broke my heart. The quote at the end that you found, I just thought that was like an amazing quote to put together on that film, because it really speaks loudly of what you're trying to do.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was definitely a difficult experience, talking to these people and hearing their stories, especially Freddie, whose story is incredibly tragic. Part of what makes it so difficult is that he has a son who has autism. And, growing up in the United States, I mean, it's already difficult enough to raise a child with autism, and then to uproot him and bring him to Mexico is just, for him, he felt just didn't make sense. So there's this additional level of kind of tragedy to the whole thing, the fact that, yeah, he has to be for at least 10 years separated from his son, and only limited times can see him, we'll be able to see him in person, so it's pretty much through Skype or something like that.
Do you stay in contact with these people?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think once you make a connection, that connection is just so deep,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
touching. Well, I know your film is being shown this evening, so what time is the film being shown?
Tonight it is at 7:15 at the Harkins Theater.
Okay, and I can't wait to hear audience reaction and everything. And how can more people find out about your film?
They can go to our website, losotrosfilm.com. Some of the organizations that we worked with are also on there if you'd like to donate, or if you're ever in Mexico and would like to volunteer. Yeah.
Well, thank you for bringing this to our attention. It's really an important film, so thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having us.
Okay. And if you're following us on social media, remember it's hashtag Sedona Film Fest 2020 and hashtag Sedona Film Fest 26. We'll be back with more interviews with filmmakers after this.